instead of my typical, you know, come up here and try to, you know, say a little hook, say a little joke, you know, take a shot at somebody's fan base, I'm just going to say, take a look right there. There's a link. Buddies that you guys typically see here for the Tackle pay-per-view previews, Kristen and Guapo, along with the Suave one, have returned. The Wrestle Recap is back. So they did a video last night. I'm going to put the link. It's going to be one of those places. One of those places is going to say Wrestle Recap Returns or something equally uncreative. Check them out. They're cool. They're going to be back with me for the WrestleMania review. But in the meantime, let's talk about a Raw that nobody's going to admit was kind of cool. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your leap year, February 29th Raw review. Decent show, no Roman Reigns, which, I mean, automatically people are going to say, yay. It's going to be what I say a lot from now to WrestleMania. Nothing too spectacular, very structural, very, you know, we're building the story going forward, and a couple little hiccups here and there along the way. I mean, even the match with Ryback wasn't terrible, so what can I really complain about? Well, Naomi's on the show. So that's a thing. We start off the show, we know a couple of things. From social media, we know that Rusev has a body slam challenge coming up, where he's going to give away some car for anybody that can body slam him. Now, this is the WWE, where we've seen Viscera slammed, where we've seen Rikishi slammed, The Big Show slammed, The Big Show and Edge F5'd by John Cena at the same time.
Everybody, welcome
why?
to another fantastic fun edition
Why?
of the Post-Raw Rundown, right here on my channel, YouTube.
That's a free preview for OKFabe's random wrestling Raw rundown, so you can go check out him, and my computer's possessed, apparently. Isn't that fun? Getting back to my original point, where the fuck was I? Thank you, Connor. Thank you for that. In fact, we're gonna do this. Usually do that before the video starts. I'm super professional. Anyways, body slam challenge for Rusev. Getting back to what I was saying. We've seen people much bigger than Rusev get body slammed in the WWE. We saw, I mean, Cesaro, for example, pick up and carry the Big Show to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So it's one of those, it's interesting, for lack of any other better term. He's going to give away a car for reasons I just don't know. Becky versus Sasha for the #1 contendership, because we're definitely going to get a winner out of that. Undertaker returns tonight, which is always fun. And AJ and Chris Jericho, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, Y2AJ, are going to take on the New Day after defeating them on SmackDown with a little bit of help from Mark Henry. Show starts off with a replay of Triple H's beatdown on Roman Reigns, which gets the applause that the WWE doesn't want. Triple H comes out, talks to the crowd, talks to you, all of you are like Roman Reigns. You all bow down to authority because of fear. It's your nature. You all know your place. Roman Reigns needs to know his place. Roman doesn't know his place, and now he's sitting at home breathing through his mouth and hoping he can even make it to WrestleMania. Nobody disrespects the authority. So, of course, Dean Ambrose comes out. He limps to the ring, selling the beatdown that he got from Brock Lesnar last week, which is good. Says he was just on the phone with Roman Reigns. He says hi, and he says he's coming for him. The two of them make a bunch of Oscars jokes from last night, and it's just like, Ambrose makes fun of Triple H and Stephanie based on Shane McMahon's return last week, which is great. And he says, in all the kerfuffle of last week, I didn't really get a chance to talk to you. Who did you want to win that triple threat match at Fastlane? Triple H says the only ones that mattered were Lesnar and Roman, because you were never a factor. You were always a third wheel. You know, I just before I thought it was an act that you were so crazy, but you are actually crazy. You know, you've proved it by challenging Brock Lesnar, and you've proved it by coming out and getting in my face tonight. Ambrose Ambrose goes on this little thing about how Triple H is smart, and he says that he's smart enough to know that you don't want to face him. You can't beat me. I can smell it on you. Triple H, because he's a bad guy and because people say stuff like this, that smell you're smelling that you don't recognize is clean clothes, power, and money, which gets a "you can't beat him" chant from the crowd, which is one I don't think I've ever heard before. My chair's doing a thing, so I'm going to try and get it to stop doing that, and obviously it's not going to, because that's how things go here. Ambrose says, you're all talk, how about me versus you in a title match? Roman Reigns fights for the title at Mania, but who says that title match has to be against you? Triple H says he'll have an answer for him by the end of the night. Ambrose dicks him around a little bit. He says, I don't know what you mean by the end of the night. Do you mean by like midnight tonight? Do you mean by the end of the show? I got some stuff to do after the show. I've got other things on my mind right now. Triple H says, yeah, you do. In fact, you're facing Alberto Del Rio in the main event tonight, and the League of Nations will all be there. Have fun. Fuck off, more or less. So that's your opening segment. It did the job. A lot of people, I think, want to see Triple H and Ambrose. A lot of people would have liked to see Triple H and Ambrose for the title, but then we would have gotten Roman and Brock again, and nobody wants to see that. Can't believe this is the first match of the night. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, number one contender for the women's championship at WrestleMania. Charlotte's obviously not on commentary, but by commentary with Rick, obviously, because, you know, there's a lot of really bad jokes I could make there. Dirty old man. Charlotte looks like her dad. They could be twins. That's how she got in the building. Maybe it's take your kids to work day. Actually, I heard a little bit of an interview that the podcast that I always tell you guys to check out, the Bear Hug It Out podcast, they interviewed Charlotte, and basically she joked around that she goes to work every day and her daddy follows her, which is pretty much the case, isn't it? Anyways, collar and elbow tie up and a headlock and a snapmare by Sasha. Let's go Sasha, let's go Becky chants. Loud and strong through this whole match. Pin roll up. There's a lot of reversal sequences. The word you're going to hear a lot in this match is sequence. And it's just how the match goes. It's really good because it lets the announcers talk about NXT, how long these girls have known each other, how many times they face each other, the classic matches they've had at the different takeovers. It's good. Anytime you can show familiarity, anytime you can say, look at how well these two know each other, it contributes to the story. I like it. Pinning roll-up reversal sequence, and they trade submissions, going for the bank statement, going for the disarmor a lot. Sasha tosses Becky, but misses a baseball slide. Becky hits her baseball slide in a forearm off the apron. Knee lift by Sasha, and then she takes Becky. Becky's standing on the apron with her torso sort of through the ropes. If she was facing Randy Orton, I would be worried about her getting a suspension DDT. But she's in the ropes, and Sasha kind of slides her along the rope until her midsection, her rib and stomach area are what eats the turnbuckle. It's not her shoulder, it's not her face, it's not anything like that. She gets thrown midsection first, which is awkward, which makes it look painful, which makes it very, very effective. As we come back from commercial break, rolling clotheslines by Becky and a kick to the face by Sasha. Double knee drop press by Sasha Banks is fucking awesome. Springboard thrust kick and an exploder suplex by Becky. Sunset flip reversal sequence and a double knee by Sasha again. Both women trade forearms. Backslide reversal sequence. Boot by Becky. Top rope missile drop kick by Becky. Back elbow by Becky and a hangman by Sasha. Sunset flip off the top rope by Sasha, but they land, and it's kind of obvious that it's really, really done on purpose. Is the only nitpick I have about this match, but they land so that all four of their shoulders are touching the mat. It's a double pin. It's very reminiscent of the story that we have with Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn in NXT right now. We've got a number one contenders match. We're gonna definitely have a number one contender at the end of this match. So obviously both of them win for reasons, and you think immediately, as soon as the referee talks to Lillian Garcia announces a draw, loud triple threat chants. Here's the thing. I don't care about how predictable this is, that we're going to be getting a triple threat match at WrestleMania. If it means we're going to get a long-ass, drawn-out series of matches between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, I'm okay with that. But here's the thing. As they're arguing, as the announcer and the referee, Sasha and Becky, are all arguing over the finish, Charlotte's music plays, and she gets a victorious exit, like she's done something, and she hasn't. That's my only... Like, I love this match. I went into Raw. Here's the thing, and here's me being a bit sarcastic, obviously. But you went into this match knowing that it was going to be a Fugazi finish. Like you knew that there was going to be some bullshit, some nonsense. I figured they were going to do something a little simpler, like Charlotte runs in and hits both of them with the belt so there's not a clear winner, or somebody wins by disqualification, somebody else says they don't want the win that way. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. You take them both out and they both get a double count out, whatever. You knew you weren't getting a winner out of this, or at least not a clean win. I figured after that we found out it was a draw, one of two things was going to happen. A, you're going to get a rematch. B, we're going to announce the triple threat match that we all know is coming down the line anyway. I don't want to say shit ending because it works and they pulled it off well. It's just a little obvious that they tried to land collectively on their shoulders, which is not, I mean, it's the way they're booked. It's not anything to do with either the two girls in the ring, so I can't take anything away from them. It was a little obvious, is all I'm going to say. Other than that, great match, couple of great spots. Suplexes by Becky Lynch are always on point. That double knee press that Sasha Banks does was really fucking good. And to see it not in the corner, to see it as a press in the middle of the ring, you know, showing a little bit of variance of offense, again, goes back to that story of they know each other, so they're both going to have to pull out new things. The baseball slide drop kicks and the elbows off the apron from Becky Lynch, same thing goes. It's good. They're telling a good story. I think if WWE knows what they're doing, they're going to tell the story that the more these two are frustrated over fighting over the number one contendership, the more frustration that Charlotte is going to have to put up with from the winner at WrestleMania, or the winners when they finally announce that it's going to be a triple threat match. We have a weird Wyatt promo in the back, and the sum total of it is, I know what I need to do now. And then we don't see him for the rest of the night. So that's nice. Ziggler versus The Miz, which is a match, I'm sorry, I know I'm the only person on the planet that wants to see this. I want Ziggler versus The Miz. No stips, no titles, no nothing like that, no bullshit, no tag team scenarios. I want these two in a straight up match at WrestleMania. I don't care if, everybody knows, Miz is my boy. I don't care if Miz wins or not. I really don't. I want to see these two fight each other one-on-one on the WrestleMania stage. Is that too much to ask? Is it? Fuck. Chain wrestling and lots of pin attempts by Ziggler were really pushing the fact that Ziggler is serious now and he wants to be a main eventer and he's more aggressive. Neckbreaker and an elbow drop by Ziggler. Super kick fails. Skull crushing finale fails. Drop kick by Ziggler and a splash. One Irish whip. Really hard by The Miz. Chest first into the turnbuckle is enough to make him susceptible to a roll-up, and my boy Miz gets the win. And I just smiled. I can't even laugh or gloat or anything like that because it was like a 2-minute match. The ending was booked like a fluke. It was a nothing match, but my boy Miz got the win. My boy Miz got the win over somebody like Ziggler, who is relatively still popular, although he's losing steam. So I really just... I want them to do something with The Miz, guys. And I've said this before. WrestleMania 27 was a one-off. I know he's not going to be a champion. I know he's not going to main event WrestleMania. But they need to do something with The Miz other than make him the oddball in the middle of the Jericho... AJ story, like what they did, and just have him doing Miz TV all the time. Anyways, for the 1-minute match that it wasn't that bad. Like I say, we're seeing more aggressive Ziggler, which is cool. My boy Miz got the win. It's all good. We replay Shane's return from last week. There's a lot of replays. A lot of replays this week. Stephanie comes out. Immediate we want Shane chance. She tries to do her BS acceptance speech, but instead she ends up shitting on Shane, throwing the podium. She's there to get the Vincent J. McMahon Award, tradition of excellence, whatever the fuck it is. She wanted to give her speech from last week, but the crowd drives her nuts, and she shits on the crowd. The Undertaker is going to put Shane on permanent vacation, and you will all bow down to me and Triple H, your king and queen. Which is nice. I'm not giving that the credit it really deserves. I'm really not. Stephanie McMahon is the... hate to say this, she is the best heel diva the WWE has ever had. And she's not a wrestler. Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of really sad. Lucha Dragons versus Rusev and Sheamus. I didn't do notes for this match because I don't care. I really don't. Lucha Dragons look badass as usual. They've got new gear. It's black and silver. It's a little cooler than the neon bullshit that they had before. But then they got the neon t-shirts on. So, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back for them. I don't care about the League of Nations whatsoever. The commentators take this time to talk about Rusev's body slam challenge. The people in the crowd take this time to tell us that they do indeed want Lana. League of Nations get the win. I don't care. I don't think there was a body slam in the whole match, and this was relatively pointless. I really wish the Lucha Dragons were more actively in the tag team title picture. We have a... Oh my god. We have a segment in the back. Renee Young, Natalya, in the back, talking about how, you know, Natalya Neidhart does all these things. She trains, she's a wrestler, she's a star on Total Divas. You know, how do you keep up this frantic pace? Well, you know, I work out, and I drink lots of water, and I get lots of rest, and I eat a lot of Subway. And it's just like, okay, Natalya is not exactly the pinnacle of the women's division right now, but she's doing this tumor-inspiring double plug for Total Divas and Subway, and they can both fuck the fuck off, is my answer to that. Ryback versus Adam Rose, which is not quite the squash I thought it was going to be. It was still a squash, to be fair. New, more aggressive, not quite heel, but I don't give a shit. Ryback doesn't do the feed me more, it's feeding time at the top of the rampway. Comes down, he's facing Adam Rose. The rest of the social misfits are out there. That wasn't a mistake, I'm just making fun of them. Just saying. Throws Rose across the ring 3 times. Hangman by Rose, which I didn't expect, and a shoulder block by Ryback. Elbows and kicks by Rose, and he gets him in a sitting position, and he's just... with punches and slaps, he's swatting repeatedly at the back of Ryback's head, which is just, it's never going to be a good idea, was it? Here's a spot, and you guys know this if you've been watching these videos for a while. The backpack sleeper into the backpack stunner. The backpack sleeper by Adam Rose up on the back with the thing, and you know if you see somebody do a backpack sleeper on somebody that is still standing and able to move around, it's going to, or at least it should, turn into the backpack stunner. I know this, and I know predictability is not exactly the greatest thing in wrestling. I know that one is going to lead to the other. It's predictable as fuck, but it's a spot that always makes me pop because it's fun. Because it's like, for the silly heel, it's like, why would you do that? It's kind of like, why does an opponent stay in the ring when Hulk Hogan starts to Hulk up? Why doesn't an opponent roll out of the way when they're about to get the worm or the people's elbow or anything like that? You know, if you put this version of the sleeper on a standing opponent, you're going to get your jaw jacked. It's going to happen. It puts a smile on my face. Crazy ass mounted punches by Ryback once he's got Rose on the ground, to the point where the referee tries to pull him off. He swats the referee away. Shell shock, and Ryback gets the win. Ryback is a proper 50-50 to me right now, because I don't care, but I'm intrigued because he shows these little flashes of aggression, these little, like, not even a whole match worth, because this was a short match. Little tiny moments in matches where I see where he could be this wrecking ball that WWE sees him as. But then it usually goes away pretty quickly. So it's a proper 50-50 with Ryback. I don't hate the guy like a lot of people do. I don't. I actually think if he's going to go badass and just go all Neanderthal and, like, clobber people, I think the change in attire actually even works. I know it brings about the Goldberg comments and all that sort of thing. But, and he doesn't celebrate, he doesn't give the opponents a further beatdown after the match. He just literally goes about his business and fucks off, which is not what you expect, and it's just like, I'm done, I'm clocking out. Not I'm tagging out, but I'm clocking out. I've done my job. The guy's defeated, which is what a real athlete or a real fighter would do, I think. I'm speaking way too much about Ryback. We replay the Ambrose Lesnar shtick from last week, the beatdown in the parking lot, the return with the ambulance, the beatdown in the ring, and then Ambrose asking for the match. Things are flashing at me right now. I can deal with that in a minute. Y2AJ versus The New Day. They don't want none section. Remember, when Cesaro was a thing, and people would hold up the plain black and white signs that said Cesaro section. Now, the DMX song that AJ comes out to is just DMX constantly saying over and over again, they don't want none. So there's whole sections of this arena just holding up signs that say they don't want none. Yay, illiteracy, but cool for AJ, I guess. Kofi and Jericho start, collar and elbow tie up, a key lock, a headlock, and a shoulder block by Kofi, drop kick by Jericho, and corner chops, double back elbow by Y2AJ, tossing out both opponents and hitting a double slingshot crossbody on the heels as we go to commercial break. Unicorn stampede on Styles when we get back, slingshot low corner drop kick by Kofi, half Nelson by Kofi, and chops by Styles, a trip by Kofi, and Kofi eats apron face first, which is always a dirty looking spot, because if you remember when Taz was a commentator back in the day, he'll tell you that's the hardest part of the ring, as if we don't know, as if we didn't hear it last week, as if we didn't hear it on SmackDown. That's a thing. Running splash by Big E and a Pele by AJ. Two shoulder tackles and a top rope axe handle by Jericho. Running Enziguri and a bulldog by Jericho. Kofi misses a dropkick lion salt by Jericho. Flying forearm by AJ. Trouble in Paradise is countered into a walls of Jericho, and Y2AJ get the win. Styles grabs the microphone, which he hasn't done a whole lot of, and says, hey, he kind of makes a joke about how new he is. He's kind of like, I haven't been here that long, but doesn't that mean we get a title shot? Jericho grabs the mic, takes the promo, basically tells the world that Y2AJ is a thing, and we're going to be champions, and what do you think about that? And he says, and then for a split second while he's talking, you figure this is going to be a match at Mania. He says, next week on Raw. And as soon as he says next week on Raw, you can see the crowd deflate a little bit. I mean, if this goes on to WrestleMania, that'd be great. But you think that the announcement is going to be made, that it's going to be at WrestleMania when he's talking. And when he says next week on Raw, you can, if you look out in the crowd behind him and the crowd around the New Day, you can see them deflate their excitement just a little. And I'm not going to lie, I felt the same way. We will find out later on that this is in fact a thing, and it is in fact happening next week on Raw. On SmackDown, I got it written down somewhere, we are going to get a rematch between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. So there's going to be another bullshit thing there. Vince McMahon comes out, shits on the crowd for giving him a bad ovation, and he says, I know you all are waiting for the day after WrestleMania when I come out here to introduce Shane McMahon as the new person running Raw. That will mean that hell is frozen over and the seas are boiling and the skies have fallen, and that Shane has actually beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He'd be running Raw. Triple H and Stephanie would quit immediately. He'd hide me away in the mothballs, which is awkward. He'd promised to guide you into a new era of professional wrestling and a new era here in the WWE. But unfortunately, none of that is going to happen because Undertaker is my instrument of destruction. And here comes the big moment. And here's what pisses everybody off. Undertaker comes out for his big return. He says 2 lines. You know what's going to happen at WrestleMania when that door closes. The blood of your son will be on your hands, not mine. And he leaves. Vince McMahon waits until Undertaker is almost at the top of the ramp, doesn't let him do his, his big salute thing, clears his throat, makes it very obvious that he's clearing his throat, gets himself a glass of water and the whole bit. I'll be here to mock Shane's failure after WrestleMania. I'm going to write him out of his will, and I'm going to give all his inheritance to Stephanie and Triple H. In fact, I'm just flat out going to renounce him as my son. After WrestleMania, he'll just be a son of a bitch. Which I'm sure Linda was pleased with. Oh yeah. Now here's the thing. Immediately people shit on this. Immediately people shit on this because we didn't get enough Undertaker. Now think about that. Undertaker is a nostalgia act to a certain degree. I say that with respect. But he's not going to fight on Raw. He fought once on SmackDown, I think, with Daniel Bryan and Kane, and that was like a one-off. He's fought in a couple of pay-per-views. But realistically, he's only going to fight at WrestleMania. So if he's not going to fight do you really want to have him to have a long drawn out promo? This is where fans drive me nuts with their hypocrisy a little bit. What are we talking about? We're talking about the return of the Undertaker tonight. We're popping like crazy over the return of Shane McMahon, but then they'll turn around and bitch about old timers that don't know when to clear out. We need to push the new guys. We need to push the new guys, and then we're gonna complain that Undertaker's promo was too short. Then we're gonna pop for the return of Shane McMahon. I'm cool with Shane McMahon, but I'm not the one saying WWE is constantly fucking over the new guys, you know, page 5, paragraph 2 of the YWC handbook. It's just a little bit of a thing. But before Raw was even over, there were already rants on YouTube in my feed, people talking about, oh, you know, we didn't get enough Undertaker. And it's just like, God, sometimes you guys are right. Sometimes the WWE fucks up, and sometimes it's just one of those, I don't blame WWE for not listening to you because you guys are never happy. That's my thought on that. And you guys think I'm being a dick, but like, put some ideas out there that make sense and that have some continuity to them. I'm begging you, please. Jey Uso versus Bubba Ray Dudley. This is to follow up on Jimmy Uso versus Devon Dudley that we saw on SmackDown. Sorry I didn't do a SmackDown review last week. Life got in the way. We did see, before the Y2AJ versus New Day match, we did see pictures from Instagram where Jericho took a bullet for his buddy AJ, got a kick in the face, got a shiner. It brought them together as a team, apparently, and they've got their title shot next week, so that's fine. But also we saw Devon Dudley versus Jimmy Uso. Now we're seeing Jey Uso versus Bubba Ray Dudley. Not much to this match, really. Running dropkick by Jey and body blows in the corner. Uppercuts and shoulder thrusts by Jey. Clothesline by Bubba. Corner chops, and then both men have a chop battle. Both men trade punches and a boot by Bubba and a super kick by Jey. Devon pulls out a table from underneath the ring and throws it at Jimmy, like flat out to him as Jimmy's trying to do a splash. Why would you do a splash? And you clearly see Devon pulling out the table well before he gets the splash off. So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to purposely run into a table. Jey hops out of the ring after Jimmy's been taken out and takes out Devon, but that's enough of a distraction. By the time he gets back in the ring, Bubba Bomb by Bubba Ray Dudley, which is still, it's like the backpack stunner. It just makes me smile, the Bubba Bomb does, because he's hugging you and he's giving himself an inverted atomic drop while he drops you. It's one of the, it's kind of like when Matt Hardy first started doing the side effect. He's doing the move to himself as well, so why? But it does make me smile. You know, I've been a Dudleys. I never watched ECW, but I've been a fan from the second the Dudleys came into the WWE, and the Bubba Bomb it goes along with the nostalgia. This is going to happen at WrestleMania. It's written on the wall. Truth and Goldust are awkward again. Before Goldust can actually do anything weird, though, Truth just kind of tells him off, tells him how it is. I don't want to be your partner. Like, this is done. Like, I don't care, like, what outfit you're going to come in. I don't care what little gimmick you're going to do next. This isn't happening. I don't want you as my partner. I don't want none of it. And then you have that somber moment where Goldust walks away all sad. And then R-Truth sitting there all sad that he's making Goldust sad. So Golden Truth is happening. Bottom line. Kevin Owens versus The Big Show for reasons. This also happened on SmackDown. Kind of cool what they did after following up on the beatdown of Dean Ambrose last week by Brock Lesnar. Kevin Owens shows up on SmackDown and says, you know, I've had a change of heart. I'm going to give Dean Ambrose a shot at this title. Renee Young says, yeah, he's not here, so what are you doing? Big Show says, you've never beaten me. They have a match. Basically, Big Show goes up to the top, which you know shenanigans is going to follow. Owens manages to trip him, but instead of him falling off the turnbuckle, he follows sideways and crotches himself on the ropes. 450 pounds coming down on your nads is going to take you out of the match. Kevin Owens gets to be the sly, smart heel that outsmarted the Giant, and he gets the win on SmackDown by countout. But the rematch is tonight on Raw. Kevin Owens versus Big Show. Body blows in the corner by Show and a spear. A spear by the Big Show is a pretty... I'm sorry, I don't care what you think of the Big Show. a spear by the Big Show is a pretty damn good way to start the match. Show eats post on the outside and a super kick by Owens. Owens goes back in the ring, thinks a post shot to the head and a super kick to the Big Show should keep him out. Goes back in the ring. It's a cool story because he's learned the one thing he can do to beat the Big Show is win by countout. So he does the post shot, he does the super kick, and thinks he's going to get the countout. Show comes back, he goes back out again. Kevin Owens, for the size of a guy, okay, I know he's facing the Big Show in this match, but for the size of the guy that Kevin Owens is, Kevin Owens pulls off a tornado DDT off the apron onto the Big Show onto the floor. It's a cool looking spot for the size that these two guys are. Thinks he's going to get the win. Rah. Big Show comes back into the match. Anyway, running senton by Owens. Owens goes to the top to do something. Big Show reaches up like he's going to chokeslam him off the top turnbuckle and instead pushes him onto the rope to crotch him so that he can win by countout. It's sort of a you know, anything you can do I can do better, which is, you know, you guys know I love that, you know, tit for tat. Not quite a babyface thing to do, but in the vengeance scenario, the bad guy got his comeuppance type scenario, and Big Show not being a nice guy at all, having a good fucking belly laugh at Kevin Owens. I know I shouldn't be this amused by a Big Show match, but I just am. If these guys, I don't want to see it at WrestleMania, but if these guys fight again at March to WrestleMania, which I'm going to, I'm just putting that one out there, I honestly wouldn't mind, because Big Show and Kevin Owens dynamic is kind of cool, and I know I'm going to get shot for that because I'm not supposed to say that Big Show does anything good, but it's kind of cool, and if it gets a stipulation put on it, last man standing, because they've both been counted out at this point. You're going no holds barred, no count out, last man standing, whatever. I mean, March to WrestleMania isn't really a pay-per-view. It's not really a thing where anything astronomical is going to happen. So, you know, if you just want to put these two out there for reasons, I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens is going to get the win. Everybody will be happy. If he gets the pop-up powerbomb on the Big Show, Jesus fucking Christ. And, of course, it will go from that to whatever he's doing at WrestleMania, and that's just fine. Brie is backstage, and she's being interviewed about her loss at Fastlane and how she's, you know, basically turning her frown upside down, and Brian's doing great and Nikki's doing good. She's interrupted by Lana. Like, and it's just like, I know I've seen on social media that she's apparently actually training to actually be an in-ring competitor, which is fine. The promo is awkward. She says I'm a real woman because I have a man that takes care of me. I know a lot of feminists that would pull their hair out at that statement, and it just makes me laugh. We see a promo. This is not something we see very often. We see a promo for NXT on Wednesday because we have the Balor versus Neville match, which I'm really, really, really looking forward to. Brie Bella versus Naomi, which means we get to play my favorite game. It's let's give Naomi another chance. Collar and elbow tie-up and one kick by Naomi because kicks are hard. Arm drag and an arm bar by Brie and a cheap shot by Tamina because that didn't take very long at all. Punches by Naomi because those are hard. Brie foils Naomi's attempt at a surfboard stretch, which just makes me smile. Naomi, and I wrote this down as soon as I saw it, Naomi rides the turnbuckle like it's a job interview. Oh, and fuck yes. Naomi misses a moonsault because she sucks that much, and then she does the fucking lame dance kick thing. Brie has to constantly move herself back into place because of how bad this dancing kick spot is. But if you're gonna do silly kicks, you gotta be Brie Bella, and you gotta get some say it loud, say it proud, the Daniel Bryan silly kicks from Brie Bella. Drop kick by Brie and a running knee strike. Tamina helps steal a win to help Naomi prove what good sucking Uso cock is. Lana comes out at the entryway. Naomi becomes irrelevant once again because obviously the next feud, I guess, that's going to go on is Lana versus Brie Bella, and I don't know why, but at least it's not Naomi. Moving on, we get reminded that Sasha and Becky is taking place next week, or next episode of SmackDown. Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio with the League of Nations on the outside. League of Nations don't get involved heavily in this, I gotta say. So one-on-one, Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio is a match I wouldn't mind, not at WrestleMania, but it's a match that I wouldn't mind seeing at a pay-per-view, get a decent amount of time and not be constricted by commercials and whatnot. Anyways, both men trade punches in a mudhole stomp by Alberto Del Rio to start. From the beginning, from the opening bell, Ambrose is selling how already ragdolled he is from last week and all the shit with Brock Lesnar, which is fucking great. Alberto Del Rio tosses him into the guardrail on the outside 3 times. Corner shoulders by Alberto Del Rio and a DDT. Top rope axe handle crossface by Alberto Del Rio and an arm breaker over the ropes. Basically, he's hanging his entire body weight off of Dean Ambrose's fucked up arm. Did I mention, not only is he selling the beatdown from last week, he's also bandaged to fuck, which is just, as a visual, in conjunction with Ambrose's great selling, it just makes the whole picture, and it's fucking great. Tree of Woe kicks to the midsection by Alberto Del Rio's got him hung upside down. You can't go anywhere. We've got to work that midsection. Some kicks. You know, if Brie Bella didn't get enough in the last match, we got some more from Alberto Del Rio. It's good. Back elbow and a boot by Ambrose. Backstabber by Alberto Del Rio. Double stomp, but not off the turnbuckle. Off the fucking guardrail to the floor on the outside is cool. It takes a little bit to set up because you can see that there's clearly something behind the guardrail that Ambrose needs to hook his foot under. Again, it's like the Divas match at the beginning of the night. It's a little obvious. If you're really paying attention, but not enough to take away from the match at all. Mudhole stomp by Alberto Del Rio as they get back in the ring. Rebound clothesline by Ambrose. Chops punches, a corner splash, and a bulldog by Ambrose. Top rope missile dropkick by Ambrose. Ambrose eats the post and sets up an enziguri by Alberto Del Rio. Sorry, a step-up enziguri by Alberto Del Rio. Ambrose tosses Alberto Del Rio and hits a dive on all of the League of Nations members. At that point, Triple H comes out and you think, okay, he's going to have some little pathetic 2-minute title match just to be like, fuck you, you had your match, fuck off. Triple H just does this with his hand. 4-on-1 beatdown by the League of Nations. Some shit talk from Triple H, and Ambrose swats at Triple H's face. Ambrose, with what the commentators describe as his last gasp, mauls Triple H in the corner. Triple H shoves him off, pedigree, and he leaves. Says, yeah, you want a shot at my title? You've got it. Doesn't give us a date. Doesn't give us a time. Doesn't say it's next week on Raw or whatever. I'm really hoping that this match takes place at March to WrestleMania because I'm selfish like that. Dean Ambrose is face down on the... He doesn't grab the microphone. The busted-looking microphone just happens to be inches from his mouth. He lays there kind of dead and says, hey, Triple H, thanks. And I fucking pop huge. Beatdown continues. Triple H... Oh, this is so fucking good. Triple H beats down Ambrose outside the ring, outside, all over the announce area, etc. But not before he tosses Byron Saxton across the ringside area. And you hear one of the commentators clearly say, well, there goes Saxton. Which makes me smile. Beats the fuck out of Ambrose, and that's how we end the show. It's fucking gold. This is a little treat for those of us that wanted Ambrose to either win the Rumble or win the Triple Threat match, because Triple H, Roman, and Ambrose were the last 3 guys in the Rumble. Roman, Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar were the 3 #1 contender participants. A lot of people wanted this to be Triple H and Ambrose. So if we're going to get that in the interim towards WrestleMania, that'll appease people a little bit. Roman Reigns wasn't even on the show tonight. There are some rumors surrounding that I think I'm going to be addressing in my next Q&A. Guys, this was a good show. We've got a tag team title scenario going for Styles and Jericho, which is cool. We know where the women's title match scenario is going, but we're playing it out, and we're getting some good matches in the progress. That's good. You know, Triple H and Ambrose are sort of giving each other something to do while Roman is recovering from surgery and while we're waiting for Brock Lesnar to want to show up again. That's cool. We built up the Undertaker thing a little bit. We built up as much as we could without Shane being there. It's all good. This was a good show. I mean, I'm even a little morbidly curious about the Ryback match. So there wasn't any shit. I mean, Naomi was on the show, so that joke kind of tells itself, doesn't it? Anyways, I thought this Raw was good. Like I said at the beginning of the video, not great, not spectacular, not a match you will, not a Raw you will remember as a whole, but very, very functional, very, very structural as we head towards WrestleMania, as we head towards March to WrestleMania. So it did its job at the end of the day. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.